Liberty Accounts offers two ways of reconciling your bank. That is either through a bank import, where you would process an import, or through a manual reconciliation, using the reconcile option. Where you're importing a bank statement, you'll see process import, but you must first have configured your account, confirming the bank account format that's to be expected. Where no account is configured, and here I'll put not applicable, then the process import option simply won't be visible. As this video is about the manual reconciliation, I'll leave that switched off. And we'll go now to reconcile. When you look at reconcile, it will pick up the last reconciliation date that you did and the ending balance. And you'll confirm the balance that you want to reconcile to. In this case, I'm reconciling to the 31st of July. And then I put in my statement balance that I'm looking to reconcile to. If there's been any bank interest or bank charges, I can confirm the details and the fund or department that has been used. If I scroll down the page, you'll see my individual transactions listed below. But what you also see at the bottom is the option to select all transactions up to your end date. So in this case, the 31st of July. And so if I tick this option here, my transactions are automatically selected. It tells me the payments that have been reconciled in total. There were no deposits, so no deposits reconciled. That has actually given me an amount of nothing left to reconcile. In other words, I'm now able to submit and confirm that everything is reconciled. If I take a situation now where I clear all these items, and let's say that the ending balance wasn't as given here, and the value was actually slightly different. Again, I can still use the select all transactions up to the end date. Absolutely fine. But what you'll note now is I'm out by £110. Again, I can scroll down and I can look at these transactions, and I can choose to untick the transaction or transactions which might make up that 110. So in other words, maybe this £110 here hasn't been cleared through the bank account. And again, I arrive at a position where my amount to reconcile is nil, and I have the submit button. And if I'm happy with this process, then I simply click submit to confirm. This will now go into your reconciliation history. So in my reconciliation history, I'm seeing the starting balance, the ending balance, which becomes the starting balance of next, and so on and so forth. If I click on the printer icon, that will show me the transactions reconciled at that date, and it will show me any unreconciled transaction, which will give me my position as reported on Liberty Accounts. So what we're seeing here is the reconciled figure against the bank, and then the £110, which will be the difference to the reported figure that you have on Liberty Accounts. If you were to unreconcile any transaction, so let's say that we had a transaction that was in this reconciliation history here that we want to unreconcile. So I'm going to view my transactions, and I'm going to go back to June, and I'm going to unreconcile one of these transactions. So maybe there's a dispute or something going on, but that has got to be unreconciled. So if I've unreconciled this transaction, what the system will do is remove that from the reconciliation history. So if I look at the reconciliation history now, you'll see we have salmon coloured lines, and the ending balance of one is no longer the starting balance of the next. And what we also see is we have the option to realign balances at the top of the screen. If that is all I want to do, in other words, I want to correct the running balance, I can do that simply by clicking realign balances. But if I want to insert a reconciliation between these two. So in other words, that transaction has been agreed and I want to now reconcile it. Then I'm going to take a position where I'm going to insert a reconciliation as at the 30th of the 6th, and my starting balance is going to be 22800, going to an ending balance of 2700. So if we look at that, we go back to our reconcile, and I'm doing this as at the 30th of the 6th. It says this is earlier than the end date of your previous one. You get that's fine. We know that. We put in the starting figure. We're reconciling it to the 30th of the 6th. We know that as well. And we know that the ending figure is 2700. I can just scroll down and select the individual transaction, or I could have used the select all to date. The effect will be the same. My amount to reconcile will be nil, and I have the submit button. Click on the submit button, and now you'll see we've inserted this additional reconciliation between those two. That's how we use the manual reconciliation within Liberty Accounts. Please feel free to contact us with any queries.